From Royal Communications Incorporated, good morning and welcome to King's News on 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Tuesday, May 13, 2025, and I'm Newton representing. Stories we're following here this morning. Rankin County District Number 2 Representative Councilor Fanatic Kufa officially resigned as Speaker of the 55th National Legislature following months of leadership struggle among members of the lower house. Representative Kufa says his decision is aimed at safeguarding the Liberian Constitution and the country's democratic principles. Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency signed a county detachment arrest of a 23-year-old woman following a major anti-drug operation in Greensville City. The LTE authorities said over 30 places of high-grade marijuana for an estimated street value of $3,796 were discovered during the arrest. As military tension between India and Pakistan intensified, thousands of Liberian students studying across India and raising urgent safety concerns, calling out the Liberian government for what it described as a false and misleading assurance about their well-being by the Liberian government. Away from Liberia, the U.S. funded flight carrying the first group of 49 white South Africans to be granted refugee status has landed in Washington after leaving Johannesburg on Sunday. These, plus many more, our international developments, our news bulletin, our package, short break to be read by Omukamba Bijoy, Otis Sanka, with the news bulletin. Thanks for joining us. At this juncture, we join Otis Sankan with progress, mutually and executive cooperation. Other reform include extension to court terms, updated mechanism for the appointment and release of judges, and other procedural adjustments designed to modernize legal administration. However, Malabar was clear that procedural reform must be marked by financial and institutional investment. According to the Deputy Minister, the Ministerial Civil Program and the Global Central Prison, it developed initiative that significantly reduced pretrial detention and addressed prison overcrowding. The Deputy Minister further emphasized that ensuring fair and speedy trial remains a top priority for the ministry, particularly in light of ongoing concern among prolonged detention and limited access to justice for the average Liberian. Call on civil society, development partners, and citizens alike to continue supporting reform efforts that advance transparency, fairness, and accountability in the justice system. As military tension between India and Pakistan intensified, thousands of Liberian students studying across India are raising urgent safety concerns, calling out the Liberian government for what they describe as false and misleading assurance about their well-being. Crown Manipali Kumar, president of the Liberian Students Association in India, stated more than 4,000 Liberian students currently studying in India feel abandoned and safe, particularly those living in high-risk regions such as Punjab, Jalaba, and Katunga, which lie near the Indian-Pakistan border. Cuban is an exclusive interview with Phone Talk. Migrant shows said they are residing in areas that are identified as potential military targets. On May 11, Liberia Ministry of Foreign Affairs released a public statement claiming that there is no immediate threat to Liberian citizens in India. These followed an internal consultation with the Indian embassy in Morocco. However, Cuban President of the Liberian student base in India said the government statement is out of with the reality of student conditions on ground. According to Cuba, there have been credible reports of recent activities, military maneuvers along Indo-Pakistani border. Cuba pleaded for protection, noting that the memorandum was submitted to the Liberian government and the Liberian Student Association in India outlined four urgent demands, which includes the immediate establishment of a consular presence or representative body in India, clear and consistent communication channel between Liberian authorities and students abroad. Cuba confirmed that communication had been sent to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Assistant Minister Charles Lee Taylor, and the chair of House Foreign Affairs Committee. Former student leader of the University of Liberia, Jacob Jala, and Richardson Corbo, has joined the Congress for Democratic Change. Jacob Jala said President Joseph Walker continues to buy $1.5 million United States dollars election vehicle, which thousands of Liberians continue to language in extreme poverty with no basic social services. He indicated that the rescue government did not come to rescue the Liberian people, but as such, they have come to rescue themselves at the expense of the ordinary citizen. For his part, Richardson Jala Corbett noted that he has sacked the John rank with the CDC owing to its style of leadership, noting that the party is a responsible institution caring for the Liberian people. However, critics, critics criticized the UP government for being so much irresponsible and inept to handle the affairs of the country, delivering the acceptance speech on behalf of the party. Most rather contestation of Minority Representative Frank Safoko, Laura Jala, and Congo for joining the party. He emphasized that CDC is the people party that cares for everyone, irrespective of their background, their economic status, emphasizing that the experiences and expertise they have brought to take the CDC a long way. Former Information Commissioner General Commissioner Eugene Nangwe has confirmed that the Liberian National Police is actively conducting a formal investigation into allegations involving Cletus Noir. The police investigation follows the former complaint from the former maritime boss over accusations made against him and others regarding the death of Cletus Noir. In an interview Monday, due to damage disclosed that the brother of late Cletus Noah has served as chief of office staff. The former finance minister Samuel Twe has in series of text messages accusing him of being responsible for the death of his late brother. Now they stated that media reported the allegation that Liberian National Police welcomed a full investigation into the matter. He added, the personally requested a scientific examination of what remains to help establish the cause of death. He added, he personally requested a scientific examination of what remains to help establish the cause of death. According to him, the Liberian National Police instructed Simosit Funeral Home to hold the plane burial while until the investigation is complete. Commercial drivers across western Liberia have launched a go-slow action to protest against what they describe as excessive taxation and persistent harassment by the Liberian National Police Highway Patrol. According to them, they have been unfairly targeted with traffic tickets, some costing more than 50 USD, which they term as a apparent shift increase from the previous $10 fines typically issued for minor infractions. Many also claim they are being penalized for operating defective vehicles, a situation they argue is likely due to the poor condition of the region's roadway. The deteriorating infrastructure, they said, makes it nearly impossible to maintain the vehicle in proper conditions, leading to repeated citations and mounting financial pressure. Tilo Peace, Vice President for Administration, Federation of Road Transport of Liberia, noticed the driver's grievances. He confirmed that the union is actively engaged with both the police and the transport workers in an effort to find a peaceful and lasting solution. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency Sano County Detachment has confirmed the arrest of a 33-year-old woman identified as ethnic store following a major anti-drug operation in Greenville City. According to an LDA release on Monday, the accused were arrested on Sunday, May 11, in Cedar Community, Greenville City, after a successful search and seizure operation by a team of LDA officers. The release quoted LDA authorities as saying that during the operation, officers discovered 37 plates of high-grade marijuana with an estimated true value of $3,700 equivalent to LD 700,000 Nigerian dollars. The release added that the store was taken to the LTPA headquarters in Greenville City for investigation, noting that she will be charged and further put a speedy trial in accordance with the law. A strong critic of the former ruling party, the Congress for Democratic Change, and now Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Health, Martha Morris, has come under serious criticism by locals in Brown County for what they locals consider as an insensitivity to their plight. Speaking on behalf of the disenchanted partisans arrested, of former district, Nathaniel Corder stressed neglect of the residents and partisans of former district by the ruling Unity Party, inclusion in the local government, among others. He also noted former district gave the full support during the just ended junior election to the ruling party, and as such, if nothing is done to resolve the plight, it might lead to lost vote in the upcoming election. For her part, Deputy Minister Martin Morris acknowledged that concern and promised them a redress. The body of a man believed to be in his late 20s was discovered early Sunday morning in the Barton, New Hampshire estate area. According to reports, he went out with some friends at a local bar in the area after he received a cab for his elder sister. As witnesses further narrated that he was a resident of New Georgia Township and had been killed before dragged to where his body was discovered. The news quality. What is saga of the news bulletin? The news bulletin is the regular featured here on King's News Run. What if you just joining us? A reminder you listening to King's News Run, the 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, and I'm Newton to representing. Stories following here this morning. Miracle County District 2 Representative Councilor Funati Kufa officially resigns as Speaker of the 55th National Legislature following months of leadership struggle among members of the lower house. Representative Kufa says his decision is aimed at safeguarding the Liberian Constitution and the country's democratic principles. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency signed a county detachment arrest a 23-year-old woman following a major anti-drug operation in Greenville City. LD authorities say over 30 plates of high-grade marijuana with an estimated street value of 3,700 United States dollars were discovered during the arrest. As military tensions between India and Pakistan intensifies, thousands of Liberian students studying across India are raising urgent safety concerns calling on Liberian government for what they described as a false and misleading assurance about their well-being by the government. Away from Liberia, U.S. funded flight carrying the first group of 49 West Africans to be granted refugee status has landed in Washington after leaving Johannesburg on Sunday. These, plus many more, we hear, and they are all packaged. We take another break. When we come back, we bring you the voices of the newsmaker. Thanks for rejoining us and welcome back. On our first development here this morning, Franklin County District 2 Representative Councilor Funati Cooper has tendered his resignation as Speaker of the 55th National Legislature following months of leadership struggles among members of the lower house. The former speaker's decision reportedly comes following engagements with former national stakeholders, the Congress for Democratic Change, and his constituents. Addressing the media following his resignation Monday, Representative Kofat noted that his decision was aimed at safeguarding the Liberian Constitution and democratic principles.
We got to play the game by one set of rules. The rules keep changing, right? I think we held on because when the Supreme Court made a decision on December 6th, all the book people came and said it was confusing the term ultra virus, right? And so we waited for the Supreme Court to clarify that because we submitted what we call a bill of information. And we believe at the time that once the Supreme Court clarifies it, party will go according to the rule of law. The Supreme Court made a clarification. I think even the smallest child that started school could understand what the Supreme Court said, except for not to provide speaker. Any other thing that happened was illegal. Then the rules of the games shifted when the president said he would go by his original posture, which was to deal with a majority bloc. Okay. Once that changed, we had to assess our own participation in what is going on. And as we see it, after the caucus evaluated, with still those going up at the Capitol, with more armed men being called in as reinforcement, our choice was to either go tomorrow to the Capitol to have a repeat of some sort of violence, right? Or to avoid that. I think one of the things we try to do is to avoid. The second thing is, you see Fonati Kofa, but you don't see the people standing behind Fonati Kofa. How long can I ask my 60 employees who have not been paid for 6 months to stay on? Okay, I have to evaluate that. How can I ask my colleagues who have endured this battle to stay on, especially when significantly we started to lose some of our most committed members after the president's statement. All of that led us to have a strategy session and a strategy meeting to say, what is the utility of moving on? Do I just continue to be a speaker sitting down at home while someone else is exercising the power and the privileges of the office? In my mind, I think that's not a wise use of my.
Addressing the media following his resignation Monday, Representative Kofa noted that his decision was aimed at safeguarding the Liberian Constitution and democratic principles. According to him, he expected President Joseph Boakai, through the executive, to abide by the ruling from the Supreme Court, arguing that the president's decision to work with the quorum further worsened the situation, thus leading to his resignation. He added that other members of the House of Representatives who had upheld the rule of law during the impasse re-evaluated the situation and took into consideration several factors, ensuring that no one would suffer because he had to be speaker. The former speaker also emphasized that his departure was not influenced by financial incentives, but rather a strategic decision to avoid further legislative chaos and potential violence. Representative Kofa at the same time disclosed plans to release a book titled From 1 to 73, detailing the conspiracy at the Capitol building and a clear reference to the full membership of the House of Representatives and the event that reportedly led to his resignation, among other things.
Let me tell you, if I wanted to take money for this would have been the ideal time to take it, right? Because it's not as valuable as it was before the hearing, before the ruling, right? Before the ruling, if I had withdrawn my case and I wanted to sell it, was the ideal time. So it doesn't make sense. What they are saying is, and it's anticipated in Liberia, nobody do things out of principle. We sat here for 6 months, no pay, no nothing, nobody bringing any gas or anything. At the end of 6-7 months, then you can say we took money. We could have taken money and spared the public. But there is no issue of money changing here except the legitimate benefits, salaries, and benefits of our colleagues. So next to me is my book. It's called From 1 to 73, The Conspiracy at the Capitol.
He is former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Fonati Kofa. Former student leader of the University of Liberia, Jacob Jala, and Richardson Corboyd have joined the Congress for Democratic Change. Jacob Jala said President Joseph Boakai continues to buy $1.5 million United States Lexus vehicle, while thousands of Liberians continue languishing in extreme poverty with no basic social services. He indicated that the rescued government did not come to rescue the Liberian people, but as such, they have come to rescue themselves at the expense of the ordinary citizens.
Thank you very, very much. I feel absolutely elated to be on these historic grounds of the mighty Congress for Democratic Change. I feel a deep sense of nostalgia back on these grounds. On these great grounds, men and women, sons and daughters of the land, putting together a great historical movement for national transformation. It is a pity that I arrived here rather lately. But I think I made the journey on shore at the most decisive time in history. So again, I'm happy. I love the energy here, and I'm happy to see the reception. But I have a few words to deliver here to the nation on these campuses of the mighty Congress of Democratic Change. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the political leader of the mighty Congress of Democratic Change, George Manawia, the chairperson of this great party, Mr. John Gako, Secretary General Jefferson Tambakoji, astute members of the Executive Committee of the Congress of Democratic Change, partisans and all. The Congress of Democratic Change is an enduring symbol of peace, political inclusion, and broad participation of the marginalized and the vulnerable. Today, standing on these sacred historic grounds of struggle, I come to announce a new Magna Carta. It has been 20 years of democratic development in Liberia, 20 years since the end of the Great Slaughter. Years that saw the motherland wasted and saddled in anguish, a land shot and bombed into the Stone Age by men and women, but mostly men, who quest for raw power shone more brightly in the foreground as their love for the Republic, its mothers and children receded more dimly into the background. In a land of great patriots, the reverse was always going to be the other way around.
For his part, Richardson Jalad Corbett noted that he was excited to join ranks with the CDC owing to its style of leadership, noting that the party is a responsible institution that cares for the Liberian people. He, however, criticized the UP government for being so irresponsible and inept to handle the affairs of the country.
Today, I am overwhelmed. Even though people had negative thoughts about some of us few years ago, but quickly permit me to recognize all executive committee members here present, all ideologues, foot soldiers, paratroopers, the honor privilege, solidarity allies. I want to say to you, you have my undiluted revolutionary honor. Today is a historical day, and this moment will go down in history. Few years back, we believed in ourselves that there will be a moment upon the completion of our struggle in the student community, there will be an exit strategy. We did not know where we will land, where the political grammar will land us. But in life, destiny is always setting. It is never a surprise because we pay the price. And today, we are humble, we are glad, we are jollified to join ranks with men and women who have never gone to bed, regardless of the circumstances that they go through on a daily basis, who continue to shoulder on the revolution and make sure that the Liberian people interest, the interest of the Liberian people will be respected and be accorded. So today, we are here, comrades, to officially join ranks with men and women of the Martin Congress for Democratic Change.
Delivering the acceptance speech on behalf of the party, Montserrat County District 9 Representative Frank Safoko lauded Jala and Corbett for joining the party. He emphasized that the CDC is the people's party that cares for everyone, irrespective of their background and economic status, emphasizing that their experiences and expertise they brought to the party would take the CDC a long way.
Revolutionary acceptance speech done by Comrade Frank Safoko Jr., who represent the people, the very good, unique, civilized, organized people of Electoral District No. 9, Montserrat County. Comrade patriots and defenders of Liberian revolution. Today we raise our fist and voices in triumph on this 12th day of May. Today, a powerful son of the soil, a fearless former student general, a revolutionary thinker, and a son of struggle, comrade Big Brother Jacob Jala. Refer to him as Jason when we were kids. We're not brave enough to call him Jacob Jala. However, protocol has placed us in a position to refer to him as Comrade Big Brother Jacob Jala. Manda has made a historic decision. He has joined the ranks of great CDC, the only true beacon of hope for the downtrodden, the rejected, the oppressed, and the forgotten, where the people, not just the people of Liberia, but the people of Rehab community have been forgotten by a president, Mr. Puaka, and now he has gone into luxury, where he drives $1.5 million car in Liberia, where the people who lives in the community that share neighborhood with him cannot afford food to eat.
The voice of Moserada County District 9 Representative Frank Safoko. Earlier, you heard the voice of Richardson Jalat Cowboyd, followed by Jacob Jalai, who joined the CDC yesterday in Congo Town. But if you're just joining us, I remind you, you're listening to King's Newsbone, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories are following here this morning. Granco County District 2 Representative, Councillor Funatit Kofa officially resigns as Speaker of the 55th Legislature following months of leadership struggle among members of the lower house. Representative Kofa says his decision is aimed at safeguarding the Liberian Constitution and the country's democratic principles. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency signed a county detachment arrest a 33-year-old woman following a major anti-drug operation in Greenville City. LDA authorities said over 30 plates of high-grade marijuana with an estimated street value of $3,700 United States dollars were discovered. U.S. military as military tension between India and Pakistan intensified. Thousands of Liberian students studying across India are raising urgent safety concerns, calling out the Liberian government for what they describe as a false and misleading assurance about their well-being by the Liberian government. Away from home, a U.S.-funded flight carrying the first group of 49 white South Africans to be granted refugee status has landed in Washington after leaving Johannesburg. On Sunday, we'll take another break. When we come back, we continue. Thanks for rejoining us. As U.S. tension between India and Pakistan intensifies, thousands of Liberian students studying across India are raising urgent safety concerns, calling out the Liberian government for what they described as a false and misleading assurance about their well-being. Croon Manipali Koman, president of the Liberian Student Association in India, stated that more than 4,000 Liberian students currently studying in India feel abandoned and unsafe, particularly those living in high-risk regions such as Punjab, Jalandhar, and Pathankot, which lie near the India-Pakistan border. Kuman, in an exclusive interview with Spoon Talk Nighttime show, said they are residing in areas that are identified as potential military targets. On May 11, Liberia's Minister of Foreign Affairs released a public statement claiming that there is no immediate threat to Liberian citizens in India. The release followed internal consultations with the Indian embassy in Monrovia. Koman, the president of the Liberian student base in India, said the government statement is out of touch with the realities on the students' condition on ground.
um, is hosting the majority of Liberian students in India. Approximately, based on our current database, we can talk about 4,000 students. Yes, the entire India. We do have a WhatsApp chat room. We have a Facebook page. We have an official website, and these are the official media outlets of the institution. Okay. So what is happening is that Punjab is part of the states that have been blacklisted as part of targeted areas in for Pakistan to do launch. So, being honest, where we stay, the government has been very strong when it comes to measures enforcing that students and everyone stay inside and do not go into public gatherings to ensure their safety. I can affirm that in Punjab, another place a bit far from where I stay, but it's in the same state. There was a missile found, which was, I think, launched by the Pakistani Air Force, and that missile was found in that place. However, there are no Liberian students in that particular location. So this Punjab has Ludhiana, Chandigarh, Jalandhar. Okay, so the places where you have the heavily fire stuff going on is basically around the borders. So what we did yesterday, we communicated and found out that there was one Liberian student, a female, who was in Port Harcourt. Is another place that is heavily charged when it comes to the launch. So we tried to talk to that student to relocate them to where we stay. Another place is Jalandhar, where you have a couple of Liberian students. I think about 16 or 20 more of them are there. And then we had a discussion with the leadership, the sub-leadership there to ensure. But basically where most of us are, in Chandigarh itself, the government is putting restrictions into place to ensure that people are safe. On that side of the border, there are no presence of insured. But basically, where most of us are in Chandigarh itself, the government is putting restrictions into place to ensure that people are safe. On that side of the border, there are no presence of Liberian students really into closer range where the attack is taking place.
He's the president of Liberian students in India. They are speaking. The Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Justice, Masa Jalaba, has outlined a bold agenda for the continued transformation of Liberia's justice system for institutional reform and public accountability. Speaking Monday during Criminal Court 8 opening under the theme Mission for Transparency and Continuing Improvement in Our Justice System, Jalaba addressed key challenges within the country's legal framework, while also celebrating recent progress made through judicial and executive cooperation. She added that reform include extensions to court terms, update mechanism for the appointment and relief of judges, and other procedural adjustments designed to modernize legal administration. However, Jalaba was clear that procedural reform must be matched by financial and institutional investment.
I applaud the recognition for transparency and a call for a continuous improvement within our justice system. We are cognizant that much has been done. For instance, through the Ministry of Justice and the Executive Arm, we submitted several amendments to our criminal procedure codes. In the criminal procedure codes, plea bargaining, extending the term of courts, addition of relieving judges, and some others which have been printed into handbill. In order for us to even strengthen with the justice system more, we agreed that increasing budget allocation to all sectors, having stakeholder engagement, building the capacity of our personnel are all ways to improve and ensure that we meet justice for all. We also take note that the magisterial sitting program at the Monrovia Central Prison has been a good initiative, but it's time to expand within the counties as it aids in the reduction of pre-trial detention and overcrowdedness of the prison system. We seek to improve coordination when it comes to assignment of cases to enable effective representation. We are also putting in modalities to improve the capacity of our city solicitors across the country. In conclusion, I welcome labor effective representation. We are also putting in modalities to improve the capacity of our city solicitors across the country. In conclusion, I welcome you all and assure you of our collaboration in ensuring we grant our citizens speedy and fair trial.
She's a Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Justice, Masa Jalaba. A strong critic of the former ruling party, the Congress for Democratic Change, and now Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Health, Martha Morris, has come under serious criticism by locals in Brown County for what the locals consider as her insensitivity to their plight. Speaking on behalf of the disenchanted partisans and residents of former district, Nathaniel Carbo stressed the neglect of the residents and partisans of former district by the ruling Unity Party and the inclusion in the local government among others. It also noted former district gave their full support during the just ended general election on the ruling or to the ruling party, and as such, if nothing is done to resolve their plight, it might lead to the party losing votes in the upcoming elections in 2029.
Statement from the Labour Party leadership, district number 7, Brown County, that the district leadership has been downplay intimidating. We read this communication to bring to your attention something we believe is unfair and requires attention. That government in which as you are the party is fully structured in terms of leadership but we have our leadership have been excluded in appointing local government officials. We feel disappointed in our party position. If this continues as we as party leaders see this disenchanted based upon the following found but not limited. One, the appointment of local government officials have been done by Representative Kode Isamule across the entire former district. As you may be aware, that Honorable Family did not support the success of this government, that he is on record for supporting the CDC. The entire local government officials of former districts are all opposition to this government. This is a gross and disrespect to the people of former districts and the party and the municipal leaders.
For her part, Deputy Minister Martha Morris acknowledged their concerns and promised them a redress.
I'm not working in the local government, so you got some power. The party is disenchanted over appointments of all local chiefs in former district by the lawmaker without consultation of citizens. I respect your view. Thank you. We need the administrator position at my hospital. This is your district. My peace-loving people of district number 7, former district, I will rescue people. I'm here to listen to you.
She's Deputy Minister Martha Morris. Earlier, you heard the voice of Nathaniel Koga expressing disappointment. And away from Liberia, a U.S.-funded flight carrying the first group of 49 West South Africans to be granted refugee status has landed in Washington after leaving Johannesburg on Sunday. Relations between South Africa and the U.S. have been tense for months after President Donald Trump said that members of the country's Afrikaner minority were victims of racial discrimination. This was dismissed by South Africa's Foreign Minister, Ronan Namola, who said on Monday there was no persecution of white Afrikaner South Africans, adding that police report debunked President Trump's assertion. South Africa says all allegations of persecution would not meet the threshold required under domestic and international refugee law. On that note, I would like to go home on this edition of the program King's News, Broom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. But just before we go home, let's remind you of stories we've been following. Granco County District 2 Representative Councillor Funatit Kofad officially resigns as Speaker of the 55th National Legislature following months of leadership struggle among members of the lower house. As Representative Kofad says, his decision is aimed at safeguarding the Liberian Constitution and the country's democratic principles. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency says Sando County detachment arrests a 33-year-old woman following a major anti-drug operation in Greenville City. The LDA authorities say over 30 plates of high-grade marijuana with an estimated street value of $3,700 United States dollars were discovered during the arrest. As military tensions between India and Pakistan intensified, thousands of Liberian students studying across India are raising urgent safety concerns, calling out the Liberian government for what it described as false and misleading assurance about their well-being by the government. Away from Liberia, a U.S.-funded flight carrying the first batch of 49 West Africans to be granted refugees status has landed in Washington after leaving Johannesburg on Sunday. We'd like to say many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, news editors who helped in making this package. Associate Otis Sankan brought us the news bulletin. Better still join us this afternoon at 1 o'clock, at which time we'll be here with another splendid and intriguing edition of the program. My name is Newton Tukla. I presented this edition of the program. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye-bye.